Hello everyone, I thought I'd introduce myself and the channel by answering a few questions. First, why did I name the channel Deep End Adventures? Well, I knew I wanted this channel to be about adventure, but what does that really mean? So I looked up adventure in the dictionary, and the Cambridge Dictionary defines an adventure as an unusual, exciting, and possibly dangerous activity, such as a trip or experience. Now I know epic is an adjective used to describe adventures, and if you look up epic in the dictionary, it's derived from the Greek word for word, story, or poem. Now when I think of epics, I think of Homer's Odyssey or Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. But what do those have in common? Well, there's a protagonist that accepts a call to adventure. That protagonist goes off to a faraway land and endures a series of trials and then comes home transformed in some way. And so tales of adventures seem to span time and cultures, and I think that speaks to the idea that perhaps adventure is fundamental, right? Is elemental in some way. Perhaps having adventures is part of what makes us human. And so I want this channel to be about seeking out those types of experiences in my life. Now, why Deep End? Well, Deep End will be the alter ego that I will be assuming on my adventures. Now, ego is a construct from psychology, but linguistically it's derived from the Latin word for I. And so an alter ego would literally be other I. Now, why adopt an alter ego? Well, psychology research suggests that adopting an alter ego can actually improve performance. So the idea is that we all have a self-image, and perhaps our self-image includes doubts about our abilities. Well, if we can adopt an alter ego, maybe we can rid ourselves or shed ourselves of our preconceived notions about our limits to our abilities. And I think we see examples of alter egos all around us. So, for example, in pop culture, Beyonce adopted the alter ego Sasha Fierce earlier in her career to combat stage fright. Within sports, for example, Kobe Bryant adopted the alter ego for the Black Mamba to separate his life on the court from his life off the court. But even more common examples would be social media. So millions of people have avatars or social media handles, and perhaps adopting those alter egos allows them to communicate in a more authentic way. Now, what does deep end mean to me? Well, going off the deep end has a negative connotation, as if one has gone crazy. And maybe I have, but perhaps the best way to learn to swim is by jumping in the deep end. And so take the literal example where someone is trying to learn to swim, whether that be a child or an adult. So if you go to a swim lesson, right, at some point you will find yourself on the edge of the pool deck deciding about whether or not to jump in the deep end. And if you ask people, right, what are you scared of? They might not be able to verbalize that in the moment. They might say something like, well, I'm scared of drowning. But are they really scared of drowning, right? If you have a lifeguard in the chair and someone in the water to help them if they start struggling, is it really fear of drowning? Or perhaps the real fear is a deeper issue about doing something that they're not proficient at. Now, if they actually manage to take the leap, right, so if they actually do jump in the deep end and then get back to the wall, if you ask them, they might say something like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And so what's the takeaway? Well, if you can just avoid being paralyzed by fear and just act, then good things happen. And so I want this channel to be me trying to jump in the deep end of life. Right? I want to go on a series of adventures, maybe where I'm not comfortable, maybe where I'm not proficient, right? But I'm going to jump in anyway, and perhaps some level of growth will be the result. What are the goals for this channel? Well, I realize that the world probably doesn't need another social media channel, but I do hope to accomplish two things. So first, I want to use this channel just to document my own memories, but second, I do have a philanthropic objective. So I envision this channel as a series of adventures. Each adventure will have its own charity associated with that, and then for each video in each series, I will include instructions about how you can donate to support those charities. So what's the first adventure? Well, the first adventure will be hiking the Appalachian Trail. This is a goal I've had for many years. The Appalachian Trail is approximately 2,200 miles long. It stretches from Springer Mountain in Georgia to Mount Katahdin in Maine. The distance is roughly equivalent to 83 consecutive marathons with a heavy pack on your back, and the total elevation gain and loss would be equivalent roughly to summiting and descending Everest 17 times. Now, 4,000 to 5,000 people try to hike the entire trail each year. Unfortunately, 75 to 80% of those people fail, which means only 20 to 25% succeed. I will be starting the trail in late April 2023. My plan is to put out a series of daily videos. If you would like to receive notifications when a new video is available, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But that's all I have for you today. I look forward to seeing you when I hit the trail. Thanks for your support, and welcome to the deep end.